Hi everyone, it's Jerry. This is a round 4 game from the 2017 Norway chess tournament between Levon Aroнян, playing on the white end, and our current world champion, Magnus Carlsen. This game was played today, June 10th, and many have already pegged it a brilliancy. So let's dive right in and see what made this game so special. d4, d5, Slav defense. This turns into a semi-Slav. e3, a6, b3, bishop to b4. What's going on here? We have a piece that is not only unprotected, but pinned. In such cases, it's usually very important to not only protect the unprotected, but also break the pin. Bishop to d2 satisfies those two conditions. Doing otherwise allows black to pile up on the pinned piece. Knight b to d7 and bishop to d3 observe some central squares. Kings are now tucked away, queen e7, and a mysterious move follows. For me at least, I cannot quite put my finger on Aronian's 10th move, bishop to c2. So what do I say? Call it a high-class waiting move and move on? Well, I'll leave this open to you. I need some help with this. I just don't know the deeper points behind bishop to c2. Initially, I was going to add, well, in the event of an e5 break, white does not necessarily have to now react to a potential fork with e4, but I think that that is too shallow a description, shallow a point. There's something deeper going on here that I, again, just cannot put my finger on. The reply is rook to d8. Carlsen, by the way, was likely taken aback by bishop to c2 as well, spending 17 minutes on his reply. So he was probably trying to work out the points behind bishop to c2 as well. Let's see how play follows. a3. What is going on with a3? Well, let's find out. That's a pawn, isn't it? Carlsen takes it. And now we have rook takes bishop, queen takes rook c5. Let's hang out for a moment. What just happened here? What did Aronian eat today? White has given up a pawn. White has given up the exchange. What does white get in return? Let's see. White has a little bit of space. White has a pawn in black's house. And the more important feature, the black queen. She is vulnerable. She is very close to being trapped. Going to b4, going to a5, those aren't safe squares. This allows knight takes d5 with the discovered attack. Black needs to be very careful. Black needs to make some concession now in order to free the black queen from this queenside area where there are a lot of white minor pieces that are just a moment away from attacking her. b6, prying open the queen side a little bit. b4, queen takes b4, knight takes d5. And now the follow-up move, knight to e4, move 14. Just to highlight how dangerous it is for the black queen, playing a quiet move like bishop to b7, well, now the knight goes home, the queen has 3 options, and the bishops will soon be excited about controlling those 3 squares. Something like this, cooked queen in the corner. So, black has to act fast, and does so dropping a knight in the center. This comes with a cost. Knight to e4 ensures that the queen will not be trapped because one of these 2 white minor pieces will be exchanged now. Knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, bishop takes pawn. White picked up a pawn from that sequence. White is still down the exchange, but it's still the case that the queen is offside. She's not going to be trapped, but She's out of play. There's no other black piece that is tied in well with her. She's all on her own, specific to this sector of the board. Continuing, we have rook to b8. One of the better moves in this position is knight to f6. You'll see why soon enough. Black plays rook to b8. This bishop is a really strong piece in the center. After rook to b8, we have another investment. Black gives up some more material, sacrificing now on h7. The Greek gift sacrifice on board. Luring the king out, knight g5. By the way, just to give you some insight here, these next 12 moves, Aronian basically turned into stockfish. I don't know what he ate today, but about these next 12 moves, they're top moves. He played very well. Bishop takes h7, king takes bishop, knight g5. Does the king go into the eye of the storm? No. He runs back to g8. Going forward allows these two pieces to give the king a giant headache. What's the idea here? There's discovered tricks. The king goes to f6, there's d5, and you get mated, and it's no fun going towards the center. This is already a mate in 3, by the way. Queen f4, computer suggests queen e3. If you run here, ball game. It's no fun. Going forward, the best move is to run away scared. Black does. Queen h5. White's down a rook. White only has a pawn to show for it. But compare the quality of the queens. Queen on h5, white queen on h5 compared with the black queen on a3. Yeah, she is way out of bounds. She might as well be on, I don't know what rank we call that. Okay. f7 is struck at. The queen's looking to sneak in here. Knight f6. Lone defender. Queen takes f7, king h8, queen c7. Look at this path. What's she doing now? Striking at both unprotected rooks. And the f7 square is now open for a fork. Bishop d7, knight f7. Rook is captured, rook c8. Queen takes b6. Still guarding the knight. Knight to d5. The queen is now chased away from defense of the knight. Queen a7. Rook takes knight, e4. Trying to kick the knight away so that queen c7 can hit. Hitting both rook and bishop. Queen d3, counterattack. Pressure on the pawn and the bishop. Pawn takes knight. Queen takes bishop. Queen c7. Queen g5. Many only moves here. 28 moves in now. And the game's over by move 35. D takes c6. And after bishop to c8, yeah, that is a bishop that suffers from tall pawn syndrome. What is he doing? He's back home, but he's doing nothing. And talk about a very active queen on c7, pressure on the rook, passed pawn on c4. White is no longer, by the way, down material. White has a boatload of pawns. How many? 7 versus 3. So what kind of imbalance are we working with? It's White has 4 pawns versus a dead bishop. Tall pawn. Okay, we get a little space for the king now that things have calmed down some. Securing the king so that the rook can do some other exciting things. This is not a winning position for white, but life is certainly very difficult for black. Compare the king positions. Whose home is better? f7, g2, or excuse me, f2, g2, h3 structure versus g7. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to find accurate moves when your king is basically naked. Rook to d1, and e5 is the one and only blunder of the game. Better is to transfer the rook to f8, observing the f2 point, preparing to meet rook to d3, this idea of a rook lift with queen to e4. And if now rook to g3, there's queen takes d4, and black has some pressure at least on f2, and more importantly, the queen will be able to defend against the g7 mate threat. Black does not do this. Black does not play rook to f8 in this position. Instead, e5, trying to take advantage of the pinned pawn. There is no d takes e. The rook is hanging. So after e5, what do we have? Rook to d3. Pawn takes pawn, and now a very key move here. Queen to e7. Maybe maybe black was anticipating rook to g3, immediately threatening a mate. This would not be best. Let's see why. Rook to g3 can be met with rook to g8. And after, let's say, queen to e7 looking for queen to h4, there can follow queen takes pawn, and now there is a reply of queen h6 on queen to h4. What did white play in this position? Instead of rook g3, white first plays queen to e7, and there's just no defense here. Bishop f5 follows. If rook to g8 is played here, we can have first queen h4. The king now has to move forward, and this is just going to be a disaster. There's already rook takes d4, and you really don't have to look any further. Look at these two clowns here on c8 and g8, and the king. Yeah, he's just asking for trouble. So, good luck, Team Black. It's reading as a pawn and a half advantage. Evaluation is at 1.64 and climbing right now. So there's little resistance in trying this variation here, and well, it ends a bit more abruptly. Actually, the game move, bishop c5 or bishop to f5, is now met with rook to g3, mate threat on g7, and how do you defend that? Queen can't go too far, by the way. She has a job. It's not fun, but she has to babysit the rook here. And how else do you defend g7? Bishop g6. If rook here, that's the ball game. So what does black try here? Bishop g6. The queen still goes to h4, and the game goes no further. At this point, Carlsen throws in the towel. You can block here, but you lose the rook. You can block like this, but now we have rook to g5. There goes the bishop. And you could run away to g8, and, well, that simply drops the rook. The only thing to look at from this variation is this one passed pawn going to pose any threat? Well, no. After a move like d3, queen to f6, and how are you coping with the mate threat on g7? You're not. Pressure still on the rook. The rook cannot defend. Queen f7. There goes the rook. There goes the pawn. And this is easy enough. But it didn't go that far. After this move 35, queen to h4, Carlsen once more throws in the towel. What a game. Multiple sacrifices here. First on the a3 square. Right here, move 11, sacrificing a pawn, sacrificing the exchange, cutting off the queen. Black, in order to rescue the queen, needed to invest some material. And now another sacrifice, Greek gift, a string of about a dozen moves that are just perfect by white. Queen is a maniac, hitting all the black pieces, a ton of pressure, loosening up, softening up the defense of the black pieces here. And wow, what a game. Anyhow, as usual, feel free to leave any feedback to this video in the comments section below. Let me know what you think, and as usual, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.